So Biddy, education.
Poverty.
Education. Somebody said, Blair said that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And Mr. Burnham, I think I've mentioned him already. He's I think they call it running the news agenda. I think that's what he's doing. One day this week, and I'm losing count which day it was. His
flooding the zone is what I like. Flooding the zone.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that. He's talking about education, and basically my take on this is that mere mortals such as we, who just about scratched our GCSEs together, or they weren't called that then, GSEs, weren't they then?
Well, there were GCEs and CSEs.
Oh, GCEs. Yeah, it's CSEs for people who really...
how dare you? I took CSEs as well.
GCSEs for people with
I've got a CSE in light craft. I can make a boat out of balsa wood, which came in very handy at the bank.
Yeah, but if you could make a big boat, you could make millions as a smuggler.
Well, I could do. I'm the new Noah.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, sorry, I stopped you in your tracks.
Anyway,
Mr. Burnham and his,
Anyway, but so basically, for people like us who were not destined to go to a Russell Group university, or in fact, at that age, any university, we would probably, if it had been now, be finding our way to some sort of apprenticeship somewhere under Mr. Burnham's thinking. And I jest a little bit, but basically he wants to, as many politicians have said in the past, promote equal status for technical qualifications as higher education qualifications, and is keen for students to follow a technical pathway as early as 14. So you might be doing your GCSE in economics, geography, and then also have carpentry or dressmaking, or I don't know what they're called. Sorry.
No.
Domestic skills or whatever it is, or even engineering or digital technology and so forth. So he's wanting to sort of achieve a different path educationally, which is good. I think he feels that the drive towards university has gone over the top.
Yeah.
And some of the degrees that students go on might not give them the best value, and that more of a vocational route is undervalued. I think that would be the thing, really. And he wants to try and get closer connectivity between local businesses and schools. I'm not so sure that doesn't happen anyway, but I'm not close enough to it on the ground. And he wants to reform Ofsted so that Ofsted value technical training for jobs that people might end up doing as much as academic, really, and also to review university funding, which wouldn't be a huge surprise because last year the news agenda has been dominated by stories of effectively university loan mis-selling. So it's quite a wide platform. But if you were to shorthand it, I would say he's looking to drive more technical qualification and reduce the emphasis on university education. So as two people who were educated in these sort of 60s and 70s and who, let's be frank, no one ever talked to us about university.
No. We had one friend who went to university, didn't we?
Yes.
And I think the overriding stories we got from there is that it was basically a good excuse to have a good old drink, and he also belonged to an organisation we're glad to be green or glad to be orange, and nothing to do with ecology in those days, but they all used to dress up in green clothes and sit on the roof drinking lager, from what I could tell.
Yes.
But no, in those particular days, university was never held up as an aspiration for the likes.
No, so that was one extreme, and now you could say it's almost the other, where schools probably feel under pressure to push kids towards university.
Yeah,
and it feels right that a vocational technical qualification should be valued just as much as a university or A-level qualification. I do agree with that. I guess for me, the only thing that bothers me is as the pendulum swings, do you knock out ambition from kids who might have gone on to be accountants, doctors, lawyers, engineers? And at what age is the right age to steer someone towards one or t'other? I don't know. I think it's a very fine balance.
to a certain extent, you're going round the same circle again, aren't you? Because you'll remember the days when we had polytechnics they were called in those days, which were exactly this type of thing to teach people practical skills.
They were,
and they were where you went if you didn't go to university, if you wanted to carry on in further education. And I agree with you entirely. I think I think this all comes down to teaching out what kids are good at, where their interests lie, what they want to pursue. I think that's where the problem is. I don't necessarily think there's a problem in whether you call it a university, whether you call it a polytechnic, whether you just call it further education, whichever stream, like to say, kids go off in. It's at a certain level during their education that those teachers are tasked with working out with the kid, with the child and with the parents, where their talents lie and which stream they're going to choose, really. I think there's this idea that one is better than the other. I agree with what he's trying to do in terms of, we're talking the trades, aren't we, really? We're talking plumbers and carpenters and that type of thing.
I think yes and no. I was listening to The Rest is Politics this morning. I don't think we risk losing any listeners to them. And Rory Stewart was going on about Switzerland, where, something like training to be a dental receptionist has the same value as somebody who wants to go to university. And people who attend courses to be a receptionist, that's fine. Whereas over here, it would be a bit, oh, cracky, are you maximizing your potential? So I don't think it's trades exclusively anymore, because there's other things you can do. You can do engineering without being university educated. You can do digital technology. You can do business studies. You can do horticulture, can't you? It's practical things that you're going to then take into your living. And so I think at a high level, I welcome it. But I wonder how different it is to what's happening on the ground today. I don't know. We certainly don't have the technical colleges anymore, as many. We've got one round our way in Weston-super-Mare. But
would you? I'm asking this question and posing it, and I don't think anybody ought to devalue certain roles. But do you really think that the state needs to be providing further education to become a dental receptionist?
Probably not. But it was just this is the example given, and I think the point he was making is that then it's accepted, and those jobs are quite well paid, whereas here it would probably be just above minimum wage or something.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about social care, haven't we? I mean, that's a prime example, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Absolutely.
The people that go into social care are very poorly paid. So there's an irony there, isn't it, that if you're trying to get the cost down, that you're trying to bring up the wages of those who operate within the sector, then that's the two-edged sword, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
It's difficult, that's for sure.
But no, I take on board what you're saying, or take on board what he's saying. I just think that instead of, there does seem to be this seesaw attitude, doesn't there? One minute you've got the likes of Gove, who is effectively saying academia is the only way. We want everybody.
He does say that, yeah.
That's because it's almost like, because it's been good for me, that route. It must be good for everybody.
He came from humble beginnings, didn't he? You wouldn't believe it, listening to the way he speaks and everything, but
Scotland, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean everyone from Scotland is from
No.
Although I haven't said that.
Not suggesting everybody from Scotland is from humble beginnings, but that's where he started, in the north of Scotland, wasn't it? Yeah. He was from fishing.
Yeah, but I suppose it started with Blair, didn't it? Blair wanted everyone to go to university, didn't he?
Yeah. But but I don't think Blair ever perceived university as being just academia. I think Blair perceived university as a levelling up, so that we wouldn't, I don't know whether to try and get rid of almost to try and eradicate the class system we've got in this country. Because there was this, remember when we were talking about university and polytechnics when we were at school, polytechnics were never perceived as the same level as universities, whether they were aware where the oily rags was off to polytechnic. The academia was university. They were the people who went to university were perceived as 2 or 3 levels up, weren't they?
So we did talk about this, if not last week, the week before maybe, but I did go to technical college or polytechnic on a day release when I worked for the bank. I think I was 16, 17. And you had to do that for 2 years to get what was then called an ONC, Ordinary National Certificate in Business Studies.
Yeah.
And Do you know what? I learned, and I'm sort of making the case for this now. I learned how to write a business letter, how to write minutes, how I learned the basic rules of contract, the basic rules of economics, some accountancy stuff, which I still know today.
Yeah.
And, you have to say that if I hadn't done that, it certainly wouldn't have prepared me for my longer career in banking and doing the professional exams that went with that. So absolutely, there is a role for technical colleges or skills colleges, but they do exist in part today, don't they? They do
I did the same as you because I did the Institute of Bankers.
Yeah.
Which was at Lewis Technical College in Sussex, and exactly the same. And I agree with you. They do set you up if you were going into that particular area of business. I'm not sure that a lot of that would necessarily be relevant today. You'd have to adapt, wouldn't you, to a more contemporary society?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's an example. I mean, crikey, it would be massively different today, wouldn't it? It'd be, how to use AI in the workplace, for example, would be one thing you'd have on the agenda.
Yeah. But I come back to what we were saying earlier. I come back to my view, because in all of this, there's a difficulty that these politicians are going to see things through their own prism. I think you just need a school and an education system that recognises what children have talent in, because we haven't even mentioned the cultural thing. It's a school that I'm aware of in Sussex, in Brighton, that is very good at raising musicians and pop stars. Effectively, they thrive in that particular environment, but it doesn't happen all. You look at public schools, most of them have got theatres attached and have got the area and playing fields, which maybe isn't available in the public sector. So I think it's more broad than just saying this is right, that's wrong. It's taking an overall approach, isn't it? I'm not sure pushing either. I mean, I'm all in favour of Andy Burnham, as you know. I think some of his ideas have been quite good, but there does seem to be there's a northern feel, isn't there, to this approach.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Which, after a while, talking to somebody else about it, fine for the first month or so, but after a while, I think people are going to get a bit tired of the.
Well, the Scots are already upset about the fact that number 10 North is in Manchester.
Right.
The Scots are a bit upset by that, and you upset them earlier as well.
Oh, I've upset them, yeah.
But yes, I do agree. There is a bit of this here by gum type.
Well, you've just upset the Yorkshire people as well.
And he's not even from Yorkshire.
No.
So that was needless.
What Freddie Truman's doing in this particular pod, I don't know.
But yeah, that is true. I think the other thing with Mr. Burnham, and I at the moment he's on the crest of a wave, isn't he? But I think the other risk he may run is he may spouteth off too much, and that people will just get confused as to which horse he's riding.
Yeah.
We've talked about care homes today. We talked about education. We'll probably talk about defence. Or has he already talked about defence? I'm getting a bit lost.
No, he hasn't talked. No, but I heard this morning that I was reading that in terms of defence, they've not made a commitment to get to 3.5% by 2030. Not sure how that's going to go down with Mr. Healy, who lives next door.
I did see that. Yes.
That's why he resigned.
Do you think he resigned again?
Now he's going to renege on that. That I find that a little bit.
Perhaps he needs one of those. Those sketches which who used to do it? Old Tommy Cooper used to do, where he would be one side of the microphone, and then perhaps Healy needs to do that, one as Defence Secretary and one as Chancellor of the Exchequer.
I tell you what they are doing, though, which would be, in terms of employment, going to be quite good for Lady Casey, or whatever her name is.
Baroness.
Going to be Baroness Casey. There's going to be a need for a lot of commissions, isn't there, as he kicks all these things.
You've got to get into that. You'd be good at that.
I think I would.
What would you be? Baron von Stier. Sorry. Baron von Beardy. All you do is you say, first of all, it's 400 grand a year, and I'll report in 2037.
Have you got any reports that have been done before that I can have a look at?
If I'm still here. You're a fan of the COVID inquiry, aren't you? That is just still going on, by the way.
Still going.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Sweden finished there 3 years ago, I should add.
I think with the COVID inquiry, they're waiting for the next pandemic, then they can just carry on. It could be sitting in the background. But, coming back to what the education thing, I don't know. I just think we're going on, but when you were at school, I can think of 2 or maybe 2, 3 teachers that I feel as though had a positive effect on my education because of the way they treated me and because of the way they perhaps understood me a bit more than other. But I don't recall, I had 1 half-hour interview in terms of careers advice.
Same.
In all the time I was there.
Same.
Now that, I don't know what it's like now. I've no idea what it's like now, but I would contend that's the most important thing, to get in early.
I agree.
Find out what kids.
Given time is against us, I won't tell you my careers advisor Rolodex story, which was a very low-tech story as to how I ended up doing what I'm doing. So let's leave it there, and let's close by saying we look forward to the Education Secretary giving us a little bit more meat on the bones.